Well, hello. Welcome to Seeing Ink Spots. My name's Elizabeth Price, and today we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into the latest Paper Pumpkin kit. So, what are we going to do? We're going to make some alternative projects featuring most of the pieces from the kit and a few add-on supplies. So I call this upstyling, and so that is what we're going to do today. We are going to upstyle our Paper Pumpkin kit. So I am going to just kind of hold off for just a second. I kind of keep looking up to this to see if anyone's going to pop on. I'm not on my usual time. It's my usual day, but not my usual time. Usually I come on at on the first Thursday of the month, and at 10 o'clock. But today I had to come on at 12 o'clock because I've had a different class going on. Something that you guys shouldn't be missing. It's so great. We are doing 12 days of crafting in a private group, and today we just opened door number 4 of the Advent calendar, and we made the sweetest birthday card. In fact, maybe I'll show it to you so you can get a hint of what we've been doing, because it's not too late to join that. All right, so I do have one viewer, and I'm so grateful you're here, but you are my cue to officially begin with good Thursday afternoon, and welcome to Upstyle Your Paper Pumpkin. Today, it's all about the Wrapped in Cheer Paper Pumpkin kit from November of 2025. That's where, even though we're in December, it was November's kit, but that's what we're working on. I was just mentioning that I'm here a couple hours later because this morning we had our day 4 class of 12 days of crafting, and you guys are all invited. It's not too late to join. Everything's done live, but recorded so you can go back and watch things. And this crafting experience, it's $30 to join, or if you've purchased the 12 days of Advent calendar through me, Elizabeth Price, you can get it for free. And it's just a ton of stuff happening in there, and we've just got all kinds of, we've gone over so many techniques so far, and some cool folds and custom envelope formulas, just everything. So really cool. So Kayleen is here. Hello, Kayleen. I'm glad you're here. All right, so let's flip the screen. Enough jibber jabber. Now that we've got a few people, we will just dive right in. Okay, here comes the worst part of our video, and that is my hand, my ceiling. Okay, now let's just see if we can get kind of let's see if we can tighten this up and get to crafting here. All right, so we are, I was mentioning, we have 12 days of crafting. I'm going to show you today's project that we did. So we're featuring the gold and white labels because that's what was behind door number 4. But this is just a really sweet, it's a double gatefold. Here's gate number 1, opens up to gate number 2. And then you have a nice pocket inside there for some cash or a gift card or a special message. But this was day 4. Day 3, 2, and 1 were also totally fantastic. And just over-the-top cards that are filled with techniques. Hello, Claudia. It's good to have you here. So it's not too late to join that. If you would like to, just shoot me a message. I will help you if you want to join along. You can go back and catch up on days 1 through 4 and then, cruise along with us for the remaining 12 days. All right, class is coming up in December. In December, we have, this is my 6th annual calendar class, but I'm going to do this one a little different. And this one, we're going to make it with the Brushed with Beauty Sweet Collection. It's going to include the DSP from a full pack of DSP. It's going to include the Pearls of Beauty, a full pack of that, a pack of linen thread, and all of the pieces and the mini calendar and an acrylic display stand that you're going to need to create our 2026 calendar class. This is going to be a great one. You're not going to want to miss it. You will need the Petals of Beauty bundle and the Words of Beauty dies. So you'll need the stamps and dies of one and just the dies of the other. You won't need the stamp set from Words of Beauty for this class. This class is $56, and that includes shipping right to your door here in the United States. There is also a PDF version. The PDF version of this class is going to get you into 2 classes, because I have an upgrade class coming as well. So you can purchase this one, you can upgrade your kit and receive the pieces you will need to make the cards that will be included in our Brushed with Beauty card class, which will be on January 8th. And so, and this one is December 30th. So we're going to use product on both. It's going to be fabulous. Please don't miss out. I was mentioning the PDF of this will include this as well. So it's a great time to be stamping with some gorgeous product, to make your calendar and, to have your desk nice and pretty for the year 2026. Plus, you can make some pretty cards. So that's coming up in late December, early January. And actually, in between these 2 classes will be our upstyle. We will upstyle the Watercolors in Bloom Paper Pumpkin Kit that's coming out in just a couple weeks here. But we'll upstyle that on a Friday. Typically, it's on a Thursday, right? But because Thursday is the 1st, and that's New Year's Day, I wanted to skip that holiday. I don't want to skip the holiday, but I'm not going to work on the holidays, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to move this to Friday. Hello, Karen. Hello. Hello, Lynette. Good to see you. Or at least know that you're out there. Okay, so that's January. There's 2 classes in January so far. The 3rd class in January will be the 29th, and it will be technique time. We are going to make gorgeous Valentine cards. We're going to make them stepped up and beautiful. Plus, we're going to scale them back and do the same card in a simplified version. So we're going to be having some fun with that. Hello, Karen. Good to have you here. We got Karen and Karen. Cool. All right. So that's what's coming up. Like I say, there's lots happening. It might not be right here in Seeing Ink Spots, but I've got classes happening all over the place. You need to come and join, because I'm telling you, they're chock full of all kinds of information. Good techniques, great projects, tips, all kinds of stuff. All right, today we are here to upstyle Wrapped in Cheer. So let's get to it right away. I love that this little kit has a spool of linen thread, so I'm going to keep that handy. And for our first project, I'm going to use the bow from the kit and one of the little tags here, little banners. And what's really fun about these laser cut leaves, this is like a eucalyptus leaf as I look at it. Color's not quite eucalyptus color, but one side is basic beige and the other side is mossy meadow. It's so cool and handy to go, what color should I use? We'll see. I'm not sure what color we're going to use. And I also have 2 of the tags. And these are both the cherry cobbler tags. Now, what's fun is the back side of the tags could also be used, right? Or it can be such that maybe you layer these and, depending on how you layer them, you can kind of swing that open and stamp this side to from, right? So great possibilities. So these are the pieces we're going to use on our first project here. And we're going to make one of the boxes. Now, I have already put my box together, but you're going, Liz, what'd you do? I put it together right side in, and I've put the shiny waxed coated side on the outside. So, and I'll show how to put one of these boxes together in just a minute, but I just didn't want to spend a lot of time on that. But I am going to move this. To me, this is a food safe. It feels like it's food safe, but I've moved it to the outside. I thought, okay, what a simple alteration that is. And so I'm really just kind of following their lead, and I'm going to put together my box. I always like to start with a fairly simple design. So let's start with a little bit of stamping. So this project is going to use elements from the kit only. And I'm going to start with this tag here and the teeny tiny little stamp from the kit that says with love. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe once I ink it up, it'll show up a little better. Okay, so here's my little Mossy Meadows spot. I'm going to ink up the with love. And I'm pretty much going to stamp this with love when we stamp these in the same spot every time. Because once you've got a good thing working for you, you might as well stick with it. So what I've done is I've simply stamped that down in the lower right corner. Now, let me tell you, when you're stamping with these types of words, I want you to ink up, twist tap, and just touch your paper. You do not need to over press and make sure it's there. Just touch. Let the ink kind of hit those, the fibers of the paper, and then lift. Don't over press, because then your words will kind of distort and not be as pretty. That's a nice crisp image, and I am like patting myself on the back. I did a good job. Let's see if I can keep it that way. All right, next image I'm going to stamp is the Merry Christmas. This is from the kit. All of the stamps today that I'm using are from the kit. I'm not going to stray too far away. And I'm going to stamp this right in this banner, right in the very center. Oh, somebody just gave me a heart. I'm not quite sure what for, but thank you. All right, and I kind of missed my, see, that's me trying not to be like too crazy. Let's see if I can line this up and get that. Nope, okay, good thing I have more. So we'll do it again. I have a few extra on hand. Okay, and I know it seems like a small thing. It's like, you could keep it, but I want it just right. I'm giving away my hand-stamped work, my own little handiwork, and I want it to be just right. But sometimes when I'm trying not to over-impress my image, I don't get the whole thing. So I get the whole thing, but again, I'm just trying to give it that pressure to make sure I get everything. There we go. That's much better. That will pass. The other one, not so much. Okay. Do you guys ever do that? Okay, so now we're going to keep this real simple here. I'm going to layer the tags here, and I feel like, I know I had one of these tags that I trimmed down just a little bit, and I think this is one that I trimmed down. Yep, it is. So it's actually a little longer. So if this one was trimmed down a little bit, I'm going to grab a different one so it's the right size. And if you want to trim it down, you can. It's up to you. But I'm simply just going to add these to the top of my box so I'm not straying too far from Stampin' Up's design here. We're just kind of going with what they have, and I'm repositioning their pieces. Now, part of this reposition, I am just going to kind of take this little, where you could glue things, which is a great little piece, but I kind of don't want that to show. Now what I need to do is take the bow, and I'm going to take and kind of lay my pieces and decide, wait, what did Suzanne just said something? Kayleen said, too bad you skipped this month's kit. This is a great kit, Suzanne. They're all great. You know, when you start to bring them to life, they're fabulous. Okay. Now I have some decisions to make. Am I going to have green leaves? I'm going to add my elements here, just kind of keeping it fairly simple. I'm going to kind of rock this way a little bit. And this is going to tuck under here. Okay. Just like that, keeping it easy. And then I was going to do just a little twine through the top of that. So keeping that real easy. I'm just going to do a little piece here that's about, I'm going to cut about 12 inches. Okay. And I'm going to run that through my two pieces here with a half hitch. Okay. Hello, Karen. Just so you guys know, I don't skip any months of Paper Pumpkin. You know, even if like this one, I'm like, boxes, what do I need with boxes? But let me show you, we're going to do some stuff with boxes that's going to be pretty fun. If you join along with Paper Pumpkin Creatives or you're part of my team, you will see that I took two of the boxes and did kind of a riff on a Lifesavers box. As a kid, that was one of my favorite things. I was like, are we going to get a Lifesavers box? I always wanted a box of Lifesavers. Remember the storybook? And so I did a riff on that with a couple of the boxes. So it's a really cool project. All right, I'm simply going to add this to my box with some dimensionals. And this is going to be, you know, easy. I don't have to really do much to this. So I'm just going to kind of here, and here. And this one, I'm just going to let it kind of wiggle free, just kind of the way it is right now. Because then I can lift it and put a to from on there. There is a to from the set, but it's a little small. And I mean, I get why they have to do things because they can't make them super huge, right? And so I'm just going to kind of lay this on so that it's a little cockeyed, and we'll let this one let it kind of fly around and be free. Gives it a little bit of freedom. So now, I think I'm going to do the green leaves. I like that contrast. All right, and so what I'm going to do on my leaves here is I'm going to flip it over for just a second, and I'm going to bring in some mini dimensionals here. And I'm going to add, because I want this to have a little bit of lift, but not too much. So I'm just adding a few mini dimensionals to secure this. Maybe one more, maybe right about there. Hopefully that won't show. Okay, and then height-wise, I want it to kind of break this line here. Okay, and now I'm going to add my bow. Add the bow there. And I'm going to give the bow just a little bit of, I'm just going to give it a slight curl. Give it a little life. And add this kind of up in here. And then we'll add our greeting. And just like that, we have a super simple little alternative. It's really just kind of, this one is just kind of a retooling of the pieces, you know, of kind of theirs, you know, so I haven't really done a whole lot. But I like to do, this is how I kind of approach my paper pumpkin. Get used to the product and, you know, kind of keep it easy on that first project. Hello, Terry. Thank you for popping on. Okay, I am going to Wink of Stella this because we must. All right, and there you have it. And like I say, I can totally put a to from right there. This is ready to go. I can just add a gift card to this one. Since I reversed it, I can't really put food in this one. But there you have it. I think it's a sweet, simple alternative. That's how we like to start. All right, moving right along. Let's see here. Project number 2, we're going to do another box. Only this time, we're going to make it a little bit different. And I'm going to bring in some added product here. I am going to bring in, these are my, it's kind of a mess in here, but they're there. These are my not stitched shapes. That's an old one. This is stylish shapes. And I'm using a circle. This circle measures about 2 1/8 across. Nope, sorry. This is the one that measures 1 1/4 across. Okay, 1 1/4 across. The pieces we're going to need one of the banners, a bow. I've got some additional products in here we're going to talk about. And so these pieces right here are from the kit. Okay, you saw some gold berries here. Those fell. And we're going to use one box. And we're also going to use a couple joys and a piece of window sheet. So this piece of window sheet is a 2x2 square. Okay, and so these dies here, you're probably familiar with them. These pieces have been cut with the Abundant Joy dies. These are the dies that coordinate with October, November, and December's kits. Now, I have this little pack of dies here. They are incredible. I just love them. Love them, love them, love them. So that's what I've done is I've cut 2 joys. What happened to my left hand at the wrist? It's an iron burn. And it looks much better than it did. It's like 2 weeks old. At least it doesn't have a heartbeat anymore, you know? When you have a burn and you like put your arm down, you can feel the heartbeat in it. Okay, so when I'm, obviously I cut 2 of the joy using the Abundant Joy dies. This is cherry cobbler cardstock, and I've cut 2. You don't have to cut 2, but I like to do that. Just it gives it just a little bit more. It gives it a little more dimension, but at the same time, it's not only dimension. It just kind of increases the visual impact. It gives it more heft, more volume, and so that's why I like to do that. All right, now I'm going to open up my box. And this side, without all these crazy double tabs, this side here is the box top, okay? And I'm going to add my die there right on top. I'm just looking for some, usually I have pieces of Post-it tape laying around. And I'm going to post this, or kind of glue this temporarily, right towards the top. So I'm not dead center. I'm a little bit towards the top. And I'm like, yeah, I think that's even. I'm just eyeballing. You saw that? I didn't, go crazy or anything. All right, let me bring my plates out to see how this is going to fit on my plate. It just barely fits, but what you could do is just fold one of these in. Just fold that in and it should be okay. Now it definitely fits. And I'm going to put that and I'll run that through my Stampin' Cut and Boss machine. Okay. All right. So now I've got, if I can get the tape and stuff off. So just carefully remove that. Even though it's repositionable tape, it's temporary. Sometimes it can pull your design. But look at that. We've got a nice little window there. And you have a nice piece that can be used on another project. But I'm going to put my die away before I lose it. I'm in a pretty good habit where I put them away. I didn't used to be, but I'm doing better. Okay, now I'm going to just flip this over. And with some glue dots, you could use glue dots from the kit, or if you have some glue dots handy, I am going to add some glue dots right to my box. And because this isn't a shaker or anything, I'm just going to do just a couple right here, and I'm going to try and keep them fairly tidy because from the inside it will show, but I'm not going to be too like, oh, they show. I mean, if it were a card, I would definitely put something on this to kind of cover that up. And I could add a little frame or something on the inside, but I just want to put my little window sheet right in here. Okay. And now we have a box with a window. All right. So let's put this box together. All my other boxes today are ready to go, but we'll assemble this. So fold on all of the tabs inward. Okay, so you decide if you're putting the basic beige gingham side out, and you're going to put the old olive mossy meadow to the inside. I think it's mossy meadow, but just give this some good, burnish these lines. Okay. Okay, just a quick and a quick. No one's going to look because there's going to be a gift. I like the way you think, Kayleen. Yeah, but I feel like, oh, there should be another piece in here to cover that. And that I would definitely on a card finish that inside. But okay, so I'm just kind of doing it and not telling you what I'm doing. So now that I folded all the tabs inward, I'm going to take these 2 skinny tabs and lift them up. And just take, and you're going to tuck that little tab. So on this side, you can see this little tab. I just tucked it right in. There's a slit right there. So they make this foolproof. It's so easy. You just put those in there. And just like that, you have a perfect little box. And to me, this is a great size for a gift card. What also would be really cute is like a picture in there, kind of mounted up a little bit. But a little small gift. These would also be fun as a place setting around your table. But there you have that. Now, and we've already done that. We're going to take our bow. We'll pull these. Some people are saving these and making little flowers out of them. Cute idea. Not for me. I'm not going to save them. Okay. We're going to take our wreaths here, and I'm going to put a wreath around the window and then another wreath. Now I want to kind of point out on these laser cuts, you have like a double hoop here, and then you have a double hoop over here. I'm going to kind of separate those a little bit. And then I have to decide, do I want the green underneath or the green on top? And, you know, I think it's kind of fun to I'm going to offset them just a little bit. And so we'll attach them like so. And then we're going to add the joy and the bow. And we'll tie a little tag for like a to from. And then we're going to add our berries. And so our berries, I cut 3. So this little die here is part of the Abundant Joy. I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's down in there. But I just cut from a scrap of gold foil. And let me tell you, all I have left of gold foil are scraps. Okay, so let's stamp Merry Christmas again. I like that they gave us Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, but when I can put Merry Christmas, it's going to be Merry Christmas. Okay. Tap, 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 tap. Get that inked up. And a good, easy impression. Make sure you get the top and the bottom, since I missed last time. But I'm not going and smashing it on, okay? Nice. I want a crisp image. And so this is going to be our box. Talk about easy but cute. I like it with the window popping through. So here's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to flip this over. Oh, look how pretty that is with the old olive side. I forgot to show you that. Okay, so just very lightly, I'm going to add a little bit of glue right on there. And again, I said I wanted to kind of offset these just ever so slightly. Okay. And now I'm going to take some glue dots. I'm going to flip that over. I'm only going to put adhesive on the outer holly leaves because I don't want them to like stick through the window. I don't want them to show through the window. So you're going to kind of have to, if you're using a full-size glue dot, you'll kind of have to fold it just a little bit, which is okay because that will act as a little bit of like a dimensional in a way without being a big fat dimensional, right? So here we go. Just like that. All right. So just curious for those of you who are out there, maybe in the comments, with this kit, I know what Kayleen's doing. She's bought extras and she's putting stuff in them for sure. But what is your plan? Are you turning any of these into tags, cards? What is your plan, folks? All right, I'm going to add the joy, but same thing. I don't want any of my adhesive to show through the window. So you can see that's nice. I don't have anything showing through. I know, I like that option too, Kayleen. I was just reading your comment. Okay, so just like the wreath, I'm going to put mini glue dots here, but I'm going to do them just on the bottom of the word joy so that it doesn't show through the window. We got to keep things tidy. You know what I mean? All right. Hello, Wendy. Thank you for joining along. Okay. So my plan today is we've got a couple boxes. In fact, I've got 4 boxes planned. But I also have some cards planned. And then a couple really quick tags. Okay, now just finishing this up, I'm going to add a dimensional. Just like I did that first time, it's kind of right there where you tie the bow. There's enough room for that mini. I'm going to curl my ribbon. Got to bring it to life. And I'm just going to tuck this kind of right. I think I want it underneath. Yeah, I like that. Okay, sweet. And this, so I had said, you know, maybe hang it off. But you know what also could be fun is, I mean, it could come to the inside, kind of like we did one the other day. I decorated the inside. I'm going to go ahead and put this on some dimensionals. Okay. And maybe we'll put it below the window and maybe we'll put it right inside that it shows. So let's see. We're going to kind of decide. So it does show for right now, but obviously when you put something in it, it would cover it, but it'll be a nice little added surprise, right? So I'm just going to put that right there. Merry Christmas. And of course, if you want to zhuzh that up and add a few more little bits and pieces, you totally could. Maybe I will go back and do that, but maybe not right now. And I want to, this is kind of popping up a little bit. Now that I see where it's landed, I feel like I can come in here and kind of attach this down, anchor that. Oh, that's much better. All right, then I'm going to take my gold berries here and just decide where I want them. So where are we going to tuck these? Maybe between the layers. You like it inside? Okay, good. Yeah, just kind of play around with it, you know. Where's it going to go? Okay, maybe a little gold accent. And let's see, do we want some down in here? Yeah, I think we'll do that. This one is the only one I'm not sure of just yet. Maybe it needs to be up in here. Coming around the corner here. Or maybe up in here. No, that looks like ears. I don't want to do that. But I also want them to go the direction of the leaves and the holly, which is counterclockwise. So this is always the hardest part, is figuring out exactly where I kind of want to do those details. So I think I'll do something like that. I'm not going to worry about gluing them down right now. Eventually I will, but I have so much planned today. I want to get through all of it. So, but I do want to add some of the gems here. So let's see how these look. But if we just kind of add them and group them in here, but maybe I don't want to, I like one in here, but I don't like how it looks right next to that, if you know what I mean. So maybe a little higher is better. Okay. And maybe we'll do one, let's do a couple of them over here on this opposite side. One, and get one right in there, two. Okay, keeping it real easy. And of course, I'm going to bring in a little bit of, this is Mossy Meadow, and it's my Stampin' Blend. I'm going to do just a little bit of splattering. I'm not going to go too crazy. I just want to soften that just a little bit. And then, of course, go gung-ho on a little Stella shimmer here. Okay, and you could even just kind of accent these stitching lines real quick. You know, let me see if I can get this one a little better than what I just did. There we go. And there you have it. Could you put it inside to build up the window sheet? Wait, what do you mean? Let me go back. Instead of glue the bottom of the box. Oh, yes, Kayleen. Oh, yeah. Okay, so wait a minute. I'm not going to undo that one, but remember this one that I didn't stamp very well? So she's saying put it right here. Like if I were to have put that I'm just going to do this real fast. Like if it were like this, of course I would have to not have my dimensional show, but let's just get an idea of what she's saying. I think this is what Kayleen is saying, is to do something like this. Maybe with a greeting that's a little smaller. Yeah, that's cute. I like having some dimension in there. That's a fun idea. Yes. I like the way you be thinking. All right. There we have it. We have 2 boxes so far. Just simple little alterations. Just the kit and then adding in the Abundant Joy dies from this quarter. All right. We are on a roll, folks. I just have to do a slight little reorganization. If I don't, I'm going to be like in trouble. I'm not going to be able to find anything in a minute. All right, we're going to, we're going to switch gears here, and we're going to make a card. And this is a pretty card. It's a pretty simple card. But let's start with, let me get all my pieces here. We're going to start with basic beige. So I'm basically, just taking the colors that are in the kit and bringing in those color ink pads and those color cardstocks as well. So just an 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4 to make a side fold card. Okay, so you could make yours a top fold. I know a lot of people like making top fold cards because they like to stand them up. I mean, I feel these stand up also, but they kind of just like that tent fold. But I go either direction. All right. My next piece is, it's 3 3/4 by 5.5. And so we're just going to do just kind of a nice big white, band right down our card. And I have one of the tags from the kit. And notice that I'm using one where the center has not been popped out. I kind of want to keep that way. So I'm going to go ahead and put a glue dot right over that. Okay, it's going to be a little sticky and kind of cause me it's going to be obnoxious because I'm going to, it came out. Shoot. I don't know if I can get that back in there. All right, well, I was trying to hold it in there, but I blew it. All right, it's no biggie. I just kind of didn't want the hole in there, but I'll deal with it another way. I think I have a plan. Okay, you're going to need a pencil. I'm going to pull this out of the way for right now, but this is going to sit over on the side just a little bit. I don't want it dead center. But what I want to do is I am going to take, I've got some Mossy Meadow pieces here. Whoops, it looks like I have one Mossy Meadow and one Old Olive. That's okay. I have a whole tray of stuff that I've already I think you know this by now, that I'll come in here and I'll do a bunch of die cuts. And so let me grab another Mossy Meadow. We'll put the Old Olive one away. Yes, Scotch tape would have been a much better thing, but I don't have any out here. Anyhow, what I'm going to do is I have these 2 pieces that we're going to use. And let's see, what else is on this card? I covered up my stuff. Oh, I've got the word joy. Cut again. This time it is petal pink, okay? So my joy is going to come in here. I have a bow. Going to kind of same spot that was before. We're going to kind of lift this a little bit higher. Okay. And I have some flowers. That's how we're going to cover that. Have some flowers. These are from the Abundant Joy dies. And we have a tag here. I've already stamped the tag because I was kind of messing around with things and going, should I do it that way? All right, I've lost a flower. I need one more cherry cobbler flower. I might have to cut one of those, but that's okay because I have some cherry cobbler handy. And I know I cut more than that, but anyhow, so let me get myself one more of those. So here, at least you can see a close-up of how awesome these dies are. I mean, sometimes it's nice to see them in their, how they come. So these are the pieces. So this one here makes a great, just a very symmetrical flower. It kind of reminds me of a Mary Engelbreit flower, but I need one more. And you know, I'll find the other one as soon as I finish this card, right? Because that's just how things go. But I also want to kind of share something that I like to do. Let me get my flower here. All right, got all my pieces. I'm just gonna swipe these off to the side. Now I have my third flower. What I like to do when I am doing a project is repeat something at least twice, all right? So right now, what's not been repeated is this petal pink. So I am going to either add petal pink ribbon or something, but what I'm gonna do is I'm going to bring my brayer in here. Let's see, where is it? I don't use the brayer very often, but I'm going to brayer ink onto the bow here. Now, this is the brayer that we've got right now. And notice that it has these two prongs, okay? That's so you can set your brayer down and the brayer itself doesn't touch your work surface, okay? But when you're inking it up, in fact, I can give you proof. See this rip right through here? That's because I was inking up a brayer with the prongs down. Make sure the prongs are up when you're brayering, so that you don't destroy your pad like I did. And I am inking up in one direction only. Okay? I mean, you can come back that way, but eventually if you just kind of keep going back and forth, only one side of your brayer is going to get inked up. So just make sure you've got everything. And I'm just simply going to add a few little wisps. I didn't even take much to get that covered. All right? Fun. And what I love, it's still kind of a bit, see, I set this down, watch. If you set it down, it leaves ink. If you put it this way, it doesn't touch. So that's why those prongs come in handy. Okay, all right, so, whoops, oh, now it's on the ground. Oh, well. Okay, so let's punch these out. All right, I just wanted to point out, can you see all the little, because these bows, it's kind of like a letterpress paper in a way. It's got some fun, delicate texture that it leaves it a little bit white and pink, so it's kind of nice. But now I've got that repetition. So I've got cherry cobbler twice. I've got old olive twice. I've got that twice. I've got the white twice. But what I want to do is, now that we kind of know where things are going to go on this, I'm going to take these things away for just a second. Bring this back. What I find interesting that when ink applied to the bow is it is shiny. It is shiny. It's totally shiny. Okay, so my little leaves in here, I'm going to tuck one behind. Well, I don't need to do it right now, but so these are where my leaves are going to kind of go. And I want to make a notation of where they are. So I'm going to do just a couple little pencil marks so I know where I want to put them and where I want to stamp here in a second. So now I can move that away, and I'm going to bring in this image here. It's the wreath, and I'll use old olive. Okay. And so here's this one. I'm just going to kind of stamp right there, because then my leaves are going to kind of mimic that same shape. And one right there. Cool. All right. Interesting how they ended up there. Okay. Now, before I start to kind of put things together, I'm going to do a little bit of bringing my mossy meadow back out. And I'm just doing I'm just delicately adding a little splatter action to that. I don't want to do too much and make it too crazy. Okay, now our tag is going to come in here. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do both dimensionals. So I'm going to do a dimensional here and here, but I'm going to glue the top end. Okay. I like doing this with tags and banners and things. It just gives it kind of an interesting bit of dimension. Okay, so I'm just going to split this right up the center there. Okay, and I see my pencil marks, so I'm going to go ahead now that ink is dry and get rid of those two. These are covered. So now I'm going to take my little leaves here and do just a little bit of glue. It doesn't need a ton, but I'm just going to tuck that under and just kind of follow that line. So just a little bit of that stamping is going to kind of sneak through and peek. You'll get a little look of it. Okay. Same thing here. Get this one underneath and then just kind of bring it around. So what we've done is we've just got some stamping and some die cuts there. Now we'll take this one, and I think I'm going to add this with dimensionals. We'll give this a little bit of lift. One there, and we'll do one there. And I think I'm going to try and squeeze one here on the bottom of the Y. I might have to trim it. I might be able to just poke it in. So let's just kind of do a rough layout. Yeah, that might show. I might have to get clever. But I'm going to go here, and we're going to have our happy holidays. Maybe I have to bring that down just a little bit. I'm not quite sure. Might take it all the way to the bottom right there. And then we have our flowers here. And let's add these with dimensionals as well. I like dimensionals. It's just kind of, you know, you can cut them out if you need to, you know, like if you've put it down and you're like, oh, I don't like it there, I've got to move it. So you can move them by cutting right through them easily. But at the same time, they're just easy to put on. So I'm going to bring this one down like that. And then we'll take this one down to about there. Okay, so we're going to do something kind of like that. Okay, so I'm okay with those. Okay, this, we'll have to see. It just almost shows. So I'll show you what I do when it just almost shows like that. So let's put this one, kind of comes up here. And then this will tuck down here. This time I'm going to glue this because I want the joy to have a little bit more dimension to it. So we'll just kind of tuck that right under there. And then the happy holidays, it was going to come up in there. Well, I still kind of like it there, but I don't know if I want it here or here. I think we'll do it up here. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out just a little further then. Okay, you know, playing around. Do you do that? Kind of go, okay, I was planning it here, but maybe it looks better over here. And it just kind of, that's where it ends. Okay. Oh, you guys. Sorry. My nephew just walked in the door and scared me. I'm like, what? Who's here? Made me jump.
Are you doing a class right now?
Yeah. So, yep, he came in. Now the dogs are going crazy. So, okay. Just doing a little repositioning right there. Okay. It's different. I like it. I like it. And then this is going to lay on top here. So I might need to kind of curl my bow down just a little bit. Or we could come all the way over here like this. Okay. Let me add this to my card base. What day of the week is it? It's Thursday? What? He usually works today. Okay. Scared me because, you know, my husband, he works in Sun Valley during the week, so I knew he wasn't here. Okay, so this guy, we're going to bring him up or set him down. Okay, we're going to take it right there. Okay, my bow here, it feels a little flat right there compared to everything else, so I'm just going to take that and lift it up a little bit. And then where this was poking out, I just take my hobby blade, and where I can see that dimensional, I'm just going to poke that in there like that. And then I don't think I want gems on this. You know, I think I'm just going to go without, but I will not go without Wink of Stella. Julie says, hi, Dylan. Seriously, I'm like, what the heck? Came through the garage. All right, there you go. Quick, simple, easy. There's our first kind of alternative card. That's a little different, but I kind of like it. I kind of like things being a little bit different. It could be fun to add a little bit of twine to this too, because we have it. And this would be a nice way to pull in a repetition of that basic beige color. Sorry about the dogs, but they're going, hey, wait, someone's here and we don't get invited out. I locked them in my bedroom so that they wouldn't bark during the video. So, how'd you get out? Okay, so I'm going to just lift this side for just a second. And just layer this right inside like so. Maybe. I'm stuck. I see where I'm stuck. Okay. Oh, sorry, folks. Okay. So just adding a little bit of that in. And of course, my tails and everything are crazy right now, but I think you get the idea. Yeah. All right, I'm about to... Hey, be quiet. Sorry. So in, out. It's like, come on, go out. All right, so my tails are being a little bit crazy right now, but I like that with a little added twine there. Okay, that is card number 1. Let's see. What else are we going to do? All right, I mentioned I was going to do a couple tags as well. I think that will be fun. And we're just going to, using the pieces that are here, we're not going to do anything too wild and too crazy, but just have some fun. So there's going to be the makings for a tag. I mean, you can almost even tell what it's going to be. And here are the makings for another, I have a hiccup, for another tag right here. So we'll just kind of split this right down the sides here. What I'm going to do is start this. I'm going to use some of the basic beige ribbon. This is part of the beautiful Gallery Suite collection. And I'm going to cut myself a piece that's about, I'm going to go about 14, 15 inches. And you're thinking, why are your tag tails so long? And because we're making 2 tags, I believe in making 2 at a time once you have the supplies and everything out. So we'll make 2 at a time. But I'm going to take these and just run them through the holes here. Okay, he's going to come back in because he has more stuff to do. They're louder to you than what you hear. Holy moly, they are so, and Neko, because she's a puppy, she has still that really shrill bark. And I'm just like, oh, yeah. But I put 3 of them in the room thinking, yeah, that'll be fine because they're not the ones that instigate what's going on. You know, they are the ones that instigate the backyard noise, right? And so, yeah. So he has more loads to take out. He's moving into a new apartment and he stored some stuff here. Okay, so why do I like these tails so long? I like them long because I want to come in and tie these around a bow or a handle. So a bow on a package or the handle of a bag or something. So that's why I do that. Okay, I'm going to take my linen thread here and just tie a bow right up in here. And actually, I'm not going to tie a bow on this first one. I'm just going to tie a little, just a little teeny tie that's going to hold that in place. I kind of just like this look, but I'm not going to tie a bow because I'm going to add a paper bow. And I have this crazy rule, and that is you can only have one bow. I mean, you can have one bow that has, like, we just layered the bow, but that was still one bow. It just had layers. But you can't have a bow and then another bow over here. It just looks weird to me. So that's just kind of my own pet peeve. I'm sure you guys have your own. All right, so there's my base. So I think what was kind of fun is just using this side. And I know you're thinking, whoa, stripe and stripe? Sure, why not? I'm good for it. Doesn't bother me any. All right, so you could add some ink to this if you wanted. Might be fun to add a little cherry cobbler with our brayer since it's out. Of course, I dropped mine on the floor, but let me just move these. We're gonna flip over to the ugly side. Grab my brayer. It has petal pink ink on it. I'm not gonna worry. Again, I want those prongs to be face up, so I don't accidentally put a gash in my ink pad. And you saw how fast it was last time? Now that texture really shows. Okay, kind of fun. Kind of fun. Look at that. Okay. Just making it a little more crazy, a little more festive. So that's it for that. Inking that up. Now let's kind of put this one together. And my pieces, I have these pieces as well. Okay. Okay, so you can choose if you want to do Happy Holidays or if you want to do Merry Christmas. The Happy Holidays is, I think, just, well, they're about the same length. I was wondering if it was just a skosh shorter. But I'm going to ink this up with, I'm going to use cherry cobbler this time. Okay. And I'm just going to stamp the bottom of this tag right here. Just like that. I know this bow does stand out. All right, there's Happy Holidays. And we'll close this. And we have our pieces here that we're going to add, and we just need to decide. And so, you know, it's like, do I want to do the green on top? So I'm just kind of really doing these the way they have it. But I want to point this out. This could be fun, but if we switch to the other color, okay, green and then white, what we can do, that doesn't stand out as much to me, but I just kind of wanted to try this, and that is to take your cherry cobbler blend, okay, and let's just make some little pepper berries here. So I'm just going to, I don't even know if this is going to look good. Might be better if this were a brighter, maybe real red. But maybe on the beige, it's not quite so, I don't know, can you guys see it better that way? All right, I'm not 100% convinced. It came through right there, but that's okay. I had to experiment. But I'm not going to keep going. I don't like it. So we're going to nix it. So we're going to go ahead and do the original, and that's to have the green show and then the white. So we're going to go this route. I'll just need to make sure that when I hit my bow on here, I cover that up. Now, I didn't read the directions. I have them right here. But they have this round bit that I know that's, I guess, so you can put your, but how is it supposed to be? Is it supposed to show? I don't know if it's supposed to show or not, but I don't want it to show. So you guys, I'm cutting it off. How's that for, yeah, I'm just going to cut it off. And so I think this is what I did with this first one. I just kind of snipped through like this, and I just kind of evened this all out. I just didn't care for it. I'm like, I don't want that circle to show. So this one takes just a little bit more, and I'm not going to do the whole thing because other things will cover it. This one's easy. You just go like that. Chop that right off. Okay, so let's go this direction though. And then we'll bring our bow. Make sure this is dry. You guys, this is still wet. Holy moly, where's my scratch paper? I'm going to go like this. Just kind of give this a rub. Look at that. It was still wet. It probably still is, but at least it's not going to smear. Okay. And so just like that, we're just going to have a real easy tag here. Sweet, simple, and to the point. We're not going to do a lot with it. And this is how I'm going to stick it down. Let's see. I'm going to use a small mini dimensional and just kind of pick up both of those pieces in one. And then set this kind of right in there like that. And we'll take our bow, which is probably still a little bit wet. Okay, get that right in there. And then I'll just kind of cover my mechanics right in there. My little tie of linen thread barely even shows, but just like that. And again, this is kind of, I let it be free. I kind of like that. And you can stamp the to from. There is a to from in the kit. Let me show it to you. I have it right here. I just haven't put it on a block because I haven't used it, but it is super small. It's that one right there. And then this one says from our house to yours. So we'll bust those out. We'll do them. All right. So let's go ahead and just add a few of these gems to wherever it looks fun. Let's see. Maybe we'll come out. Maybe we'll do a couple down in here. One in here. Up in here. Up in here. So then maybe this one should be on the green, not the beige. Okay, we'll put that right there on that berry. And we'll splatter it, of course. And we've got just a pretty tag, This would be nice on a bottle of cider or wine. And I'm going to just take this side and we'll do a little stamping on this just so you can kind of see. But I think what would be fun is if you... let me get a block here. I've got lots of blocks out from our 12 days of crafting, which if you guys have not been in that group, you are missing out. Okay, here's from our house to yours, or our home to yours. And I'm going to put the to from, well, I'll put that on in just a second. But if you do something like this, let's do cherry cobbler since we stamped the front with cherry cobbler. I am going to, hold on though, hold on. I was thinking, we're going to do that in just a minute, layering the wreath around things. But for right now, I'm just going to go for this. Okay, so from our home to yours. All right, but right above it, I'm going to do the to from, but I'm only going to do the to because it already has from on there, right? So because these are nice and spaced apart, I'll just ink up the to. And I think I'm just going to kind of take this right up there like that. Sweet and simple. So just to, and you can put, the mores from our home to yours. Okay. Keeping it easy, using what's there and handy right within the paper pumpkin kit. There's one tag. You can never have enough Christmas tags. Everybody's always rating, do you have any tags? Because they know that I don't like it when they just like cut the wrapping paper in a rectangle and fold it in half. I'm like, no, that's ugly. You got to do more. Okay, tag number 2. We're going to kind of keep it very similar and simple. Although this time I've added a banner. And this is basic white, and I've cut this using my stylish shapes. So it's that banner right there. And actually I didn't cut it. It was a scrap on my desk, and I'm like, oh, that's just the right size. So I am going to stamp Merry Christmas with the Mossy Meadow. Merry Christmas. Okay. And this fits in here perfectly with a little extra wiggle room. But look how this is a great fit. So if you have this paper pumpkin kit and you run out of the little banners that they give you, you can cut some more with stylish shapes. Okay. So let's do the same thing we did on the other one. And that is, we've got about, what did we say this was? 14 inches, something like that. I'm going to layer the 2 tags, run this through, and I'm going to tie it off with the linen thread. But this time, since I'm not using one of the paper bows, I'm going to go ahead and tie a bow. Okay? So, take your linen thread. Get out of there. Okay. I'm taking probably about 14 inches of linen thread. I do not like to be shy. I'd rather have something not have a bow than have a bow that's just too small. That's just me. I like these bows to be just a little bit bigger. And of course, this stuff has got a mind of its own today. It is curly. All right. So, to me, this is the function of the tag of this ribbon up here is to tie to the package or the bag. And this bow here is to decorate the tag. Okay? So I kind of think of it that way in my mind. I know I'm kind of weird, but hey, we like weird. So I've got this crazy out of control linen thread. That made it worse. Holy moly. Just crazy curly linen thread. Come on. Okay, there we go. You will cooperate. You will behave. Yeah, let's just clean up the ends there. Okay. All right. Now, same thing. We're just going to kind of decorate another one of these. But again, I'm going to go ahead and use 2 of these gorgeous die cuts. This time, I think we'll flip them over. We're going to use the Mossy Meadow and then we'll use the basic beige. But I am going to trim this one because I just don't like all that stuff, if you know what I mean. So this time, I'm just going to trim it different. We'll just trim that leaf, and then we'll just cut like that. Okay? That was easier than the cut that I did the last time. And then this one, I'm just going to do the same thing. Chop that off. Okay. And so, well, this is kind of weird. I'm going to maybe take that off too. Hold on. We've got some weirdness. There we go. All right. And we'll just kind of layer them like so. And then we're going to have a greeting in here. And we're going to have some flowers for sure. Okay, we'll do something along this. But this little spot right here, I said it like very, earlier that I love this kind of look. Once you have something that kind of, it's like now that I see this little teeny tiny stamp that says with love, I'm going to put it on any of these spots. Because once you find something that you like, I call it a gimmick, roll with it. Keep going. Okay? I think that is a sweet hand-stamped addition. This tag, you guys, in real life is really pretty. Really, really pretty. So let's put it together. We're almost together. Of course, you can do the back like we did the other one. But for time's sake, I'll do it maybe after. But I'm going to go ahead and hold. Let's see how we want to layer these. No, I think I want the green underneath still. Okay, we'll just kind of get these closer together. I'm going to do one dimensional, one mini underneath, just like I did the other one. And then I'll hide it with a flower. Okay. You're adding that to yours, the little with love. Isn't it sweet? It's just such a simple, sweet addition. It's like, why not? Okay, now for my flower, I am going to do a flower kind of right here. We'll do one up there. And I think I'm going to glue dot that one because I don't need another dimensional there. That'd just be too much stuff. Okay, so we'll just kind of cover those mechanics. Then let's bring in our Merry Christmas here. So we're going to do a flower there and a flower there. Simple. Beautiful, simple design. Using elements from the kit that they've created, but just rearranging them, retooling them, reconfiguring them to just a slightly different layout. Okay. There's my last one. And to finish off, Stella. Where is she? Oh, I got to stick this on. Hello. All right, I'm going to flip this over when I go to stick it on so I don't have dimensionals hanging off the edge. I will put this on with dimensional. The nice thing about adding this to our tag here is it will also help to secure our leaves and things, okay? So maybe tuck under this one. Just do a little something like that. Okay, and then a little Stella. Yeah, and you know what? I think I'm also going to Mossy Meadow this one, just to kind of break down this white on the flowers and on my banner here is a little stark. Now, I didn't tell you about these flowers. Oh my God, I have to tell you about those, where that came from. And I should have kept my garbage, but I didn't. So, the piece that you punch out all of the bows, what were there, 8 bows on there? In the negative space of where the bows were, I went through and I think I cut out like 7 of the Abundant Joy flowers. So where is this flower? So just where it would fit, I added another flower, and that's where all these little white flowers. So this isn't basic white. It's actually, this is basic white, but this is the, it's that pressed paper from the bows, and it really is cute. I thought, you know what, that fits in there. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more of that because these are really, really pretty. All right, so I kind of am not liking that this one is flat. It's too flat, so it needs some dimension. So up it goes. It's moving up in status. It's getting dimensionaled. Oh, much better, much, much better. Okay, there's that. Do we need to add gems? Let's see. Let's see. Should we add them? I always toy with that. Do I want big old center flowers? Valerie, hello. Hello, hello. Okay, so I don't like to be so literal and do a flower like that, but yay or nay? I think it's a nay. I think I'd rather just do some Wink of Stella in there or a flatter. These are just kind of they've got quite a bit of a shape to them. They're pretty bulbous. That's a terrible word, I think. Okay, we're just going to emphasize those centers like this instead. Just like that. Maybe a little bit on the Merry Christmas. And there you have it. You have 2 tags. So we have kind of a crazy one, this one here, and we've added a little bit of that action to the back. So pretty, 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 pretty. And I had to do that because I've used more of the boxes than the tags. So make some tags. All right, we're going to go back to, let's see, what is next? What is next in the plan? We're doing another card. So we're using the other half of the basic beige piece of cardstock. We used that on that other sheet for our card that we did just a minute ago. Here's the bottom half. Okay, Kayleen Murray says, oh, fabulous idea, and keeps the color correct on those flowers using, yes, it did. Plus, it's cool paper. I'm like, we need more of that paper. It's so unique. It's kind of a variegated hand press look. Okay, so there's my other half of the basic beige. Now I have half of a box left over here. Okay, let me show you what I mean. So this half has been cut off, so I have this. So I'm going to use this as some background paper in my card here. So let's see what we're going to do. Let's chop all this off. So I'm just going to take off everything and then just have this main centerpiece be what I need. Okay, so just cut that off. And it looks like I didn't get quite in the right spot. I don't know if you can see that I need to come in just a little further than that tab. Okay, now this does not have to be an exact measurement. We are just breaking the box down. Just making sure the score lines are cut off. And see this tab here? This is what I kind of went right through the middle rather than cutting it all off. So, okay, that time I got it all. And so now you have this cool kind of a plaid paper that you can work into a project, which is exactly what we're going to do. And from scraps on my table, I have a stylish shaped circle. Can't go wrong with the circle, man. I think it just makes all cards fabulous. And so again, this is stylish shapes, and it's the largest of the circles, and it's basic white. So, you know, use what's on hand kind of thing. All right, I got a lot of pieces from the kit we're going to use here. We're going to use one of the red tags and one of the bows. I've cut Joy again. Got a couple of them, and I've got a couple of the layers here as well. And so let's see here. This is going to be just a quick little card. Oh, and these little berries go in with it. I'm like, what are these? These are part of it. Okay, first things first, let's glue these two together. I want it to be cherry cobbler. I really got to do something about my glue end here. The reason I don't like to kind of tackle it is because then I have the glue all over my hands, but now I have a piece of paper that I can wipe its nose. Okay. Now no, that's much better. Okay. Okay. And we'll glue these two together just again for visual weight. Give it a little bit more dimension, a little bit more command when it's put down. Okay, there we go. All right, there's that one. Now for our layout here, we're going to keep this real easy. This is just going to be a fast card that you can put together with this. But let me backtrack to Kayleen says, I loved when you saw the boxes were not so, I think you meant stiff, that you couldn't cut them with your trimmer. Yeah, cut up and use pieces, that's right. And so this piece, I'm just gonna set this down here at the bottom. I've given myself an even border on the right, the bottom, and the left. So that's where I'm gonna glue this down. I mean, you could come in here and do all kinds of stamping, but at this time of year, this just allows you to have, you know, a lot of stuff kind of quickly when we use our pieces like this. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, I love a good, highly designed, artfully added style card, but there's the time and the place for a simpler setup, right? All right, so I don't have any tape on hand. I do have repositionable tape because I'm going to try and grab that, I'm going to try and keep that hole in there. So I'll use that because I didn't have Scotch tape on hand, but that should hold that in place. All right, and then this is going to come up onto our card like so. And so I'm going to put this on, unlike the other card where I glued the top, and then I'm going to go ahead and let this be a little bit higher. And the reason being is this layer here is kind of thick. So I needed to lift it up. For sure. Okay. Okay, let's layer this on. So this is just kind of all about rearranging some pieces from this kit, just like that. This is a great basic layout, you guys. It's one that I've used a lot over time. So you can put it more down here if you want. You can come up and fill this space. It's really up to you where you want to put it. But what we're going to do is what we did last time, but let's maybe play with these. I think I like, well, that's kind of pretty. So we're going to keep it kind of, you've seen the layout, only this time we're going to do it ever so slightly different, not much. And then we'll add the berries in the wreath. So super, super, super simple here. I have a blending brush though that I think I want to use for a moment. Let me bring in some scratch paper. It has a little bit of old olive on here. I'm hesitant to add more ink, but it's pretty pale. I'm going to add a little bit of ink. Okay, just a little. Okay, I got rid of that harsh mark, but I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick haze of color. Okay, reverse the direction. I'm trying not to hit the edges because then it will emphasize those little dots, which is okay, but then you'd want to do it to everything. And what I want is just a haze. Okay, just some smog, some old olive smog. Okay, we're going to lay these on. Yeah, just that little bit of, added just a little something, something. Okay. Maybe we'll even take this down a little further. All right. That's what you did, the dark green with the lighter. Okay, I'm going to do it too then. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of stick these together. I'm going to do the same thing I did on the first one. And I'm just going to see if I can kind of catch the green, the top wreath and the bottom wreath at the same time with one glue dot here. But I don't want the glue dot to show, so I have to be kind of careful. Not too careful, but I mean, you know what I mean. You just don't want your mechanics to show. Get that. Fold that. We get this side, and I think we should be good. Ooh, yes, Kayleen, I like this combo. Okay, I'm just going to set that on my circle here. Okay, and then the joy and Zebu, kind of tuck that right under there. I think I might pull this a little off, maybe just kind of like that. And you know what? I'm not sure if I want the berries or not. We'll see. We shall see. Of course, I want to put it right where I've got a glue dot. Okay, taking advice here. Do we want the berries or not? Kind of tuck these right in there. Berries or no berries? Let me know in the comments. If I could get them to hide a little bit more. I don't want them to be so obvious. I don't know, I'm kind of thinking no berries. Okay, I'm not getting the comment. Okay. At the moment, we're going no berries. I'm going to start putting this together. Okay, let's add... I'm going to add this with glue dots this time. You like the berries in this one? You're making me work. Making me work for it. Okay. All right. Kayleen likes the berries. I guess maybe because they feel a little big for the wreath. Maybe. Julie says berries. All right. We got two of you crazies. Okay, so I'm just adding some glue dots here. Let me get my joy. Got to find my joy. Let's get this in here. Okay, get my bow. I think I'm just going to keep my bow white. And I'm going to glue dot it as well. But this is kind of fragile, so I didn't want to pull it and rip it. And I'm going to tuck this right underneath. the joy, but on top of the wreath. There we go. Okay. Looking good. I'm going to set this on with dimensionals. Valerie says no berries is good too. Quicker without. You got that right. It is quicker without for sure. I think for me, it is, they feel just a little big for the delicateness of this, you know. And well, here's what I could do. Let's do this. Let's just make them smaller and do 3s. And now maybe they're not quite so overbearing. Yeah, we could do that. I just have to find just the right spot and just right where I want to put it. Of course, there's a glue dot in the way. All right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to trim them down. And now they're not going to be quite as in your face, if you know what I mean. Okay. So a little advice from Julie and Kayleen and from Valerie. We'll just scale them back. Okay, let's put this on. Here she's saying, but it's quicker without, and then I made it take more time because I cut them apart. But that's okay. All right, what I'm going to do as I put this on, I am eyeballing, see the bottom of the word joy? I want it to kind of line up with this. Oh, I'm overbearing. You're funny, but ching. Should say, I'll be here all night. All right, so there we go. Just adding that to our card. Looking lovely. Let's add these berries. I'm going to be overbearing here. Okay, we'll just tuck some right in there. I just want them to peek. I don't want it to be like, wham, in your face. If you know what I mean. Dean, Fern. Rose isn't here, but whenever I say, you know what I mean, and she says, Dean. That's what I said. Okay. So a little berry action. I'm burying the berries. I'm going to kind of concentrate some over here and then maybe one little accent over there. I like them much better now that they're not quite so big. Okay, and Julie's getting the humor award for today. You like it with the cut down berries. Good, I'm glad. Good, good, good. And then we'll just do one, kind of sneak it over here. And get that in there. Oh, come on now. There we go. Just a little bit. And then we'll keep this one nice and easy and just take a little bit of mossy meadow here. And just a gentle, this is a really juicy blend right now because it's fairly new. I'm going to do something here that's kind of bugging me. And that is, this is kind of fallen behind. It's laying flat, and we can't have flat. So I just tucked it up a little bit, folks. And this, you guys, is a sweet card. I like this. I like the simplicity of it. You know, I've just given it a little zhuzh on the word joy there, and then we'll give a Stella splatter because we have to sprinkle everything with glimmer and glisten. And of course, you could do a really nice inside to this as well, right? Okay, looking good. There's that. We are going to switch back to, I believe, another box is what I've got planned. Nope, it's a card. I'm looking at my notes. Nope, we're doing another card. And this is a card. This is a Julie Beltramo card. I took this cue from her. I'm going to use some designer series paper. And this designer series paper piece is from the Traditions of Christmas designer series paper pack. Whoops, that's window sheets. That was from earlier. Let's see. Ugh, they're stuck together. Yeah, Traditions of Christmas. Okay. And such pretty paper. But the beauty of it is the colors really kind of echo the colors in this kit nicely. So there's the other side. I love this plaid. This piece of paper is 12 inches wide by 5¼ inches tall. All right. And I have scored it at 2 inches, 4 inches, 8 inches, and 10. So 2, 4, 8, 10. So let's just score those. And it's going to be it's like a DSP gatefold. And this is one of those folds that, wait a minute. Is that the way I want it to go? I am so confused. Hold on. Okay, so I think this is the way we want it to go. That's what we want. So we're going to have this designer series paper is what's going to show from the front and the inside. But, you know, you're going to get a kind of a hint of that plaid as well. So I had to just get my bearings straight. I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing? Okay, and so we want to better coax this. Okay. So here is our designer series paper, either way. And we're going to mount this on a 1/4 sheet of Secret C. I originally had this mounted on Old Olive or Mossy Meadow. And I'm like, it was just a little too intense on the color. I just wanted to pick up this blue back in here. And I know that blue is not part of the colors in our kit here, but I decided I liked the blue better. So we're playing up the blue. So let's fold this as if it were a 1/4 sheet here. And we're just going to, or not a 1/4 sheet, but a 4 by 5¼ Let's just lay this right on our Secret C. Okay. Okay. And so there is the start of our card. Talk about easy. And we're getting a big, huge bang because we're using just a gorgeous piece of designer series paper. Now we have a piece here. This is white. This will layer inside. And so let's work on the inside of our card for just a minute. We'll get to the outside, not to worry. We are going to take our blending brush that had a little bit of that Old Olive ink, and I'm going to just add a blended O. I'm not filling in the circle. I kind of want that to be, I want there to be kind of a center left open, okay? So I'm just kind of giving myself just that. What do we want to call that officially? I don't know. All right, I'm going to use some basic beige here. And let's stamp the wreath, but it's had some other color on there, so let's give it a quick clean on the chamois here. All right, so this is basic beige. The thing with basic beige is it really has a strong green undertone, which is great with this paper. Okay, so I am going to just stamp this kind of in the center of that. Hopefully I'm in the middle of the paper. Good. Pat on the back. That's it for basic beige on this. I'm going to switch to Secret C. And I'm going to use the greeting from the kit that says, sending a little Christmas cheer. Is this not the sweetest little stamp? I mean, talk about a cute stamp. Sending a little Christmas cheer, just like that. And voila, the center is almost, or not the center, but the inside. This is my cherry cobbler blend, and wasn't doing anything, and then I kind of hit it hard, and all of a sudden it was. So I have to be easy with this one because we might get a lot of ink here. So let's see how this one's doing. I'm going to try and just add a few gentle, and now it's not going at all. There it goes. There we go. So I have some really heavy splatters right here and here. I'm going to add one more heavier splatter of it. just to kind of even it out. I really didn't, yeah, it wasn't going, so I had to hit it harder. So, well, now I'm going to kind of try and soften it with this one. Yeah, that's working for me. All right, so it's like party flex all over. But I got a little heavy-handed, so I just kind of evened it out with a little bit of the other. And of course, it's Christmas. You have to put Stella in there. And so now this will set to the inside of our card. Talk about simple, simple, simple. I think I'm going to put my glue here because when I put it on my white, it shows through. Don't know why. Nobody else's does, but mine does. Okay. Talking to myself, you guys. Okay, so here we go. There is the inside. Done. Easy. Beautiful. Don't be afraid to use big pieces, of designer series paper. They need to get used up. All right. So now I have a piece of Secret C, and this piece is going to fit. So if you remember the box we just cut up for the previous card, this is the top. I cut it down already, and I just cut it down and matted it on a piece of Secret C. I can give you the measurements if you want them, but it's going to end up whatever it ends up, right? So we're going to glue this to the Secret C. So it doesn't have to be specific. It's just chop that piece up and mount it on a piece of Secret C. Now, when we mount it to our card though, I'm going to flip this over, hold that center, and I'm going to add my dimensionals just down the left side. Okay. One more should do it. Okay. And then we'll mount this. And then what I'm going to do is just use a bunch of the elements from the kit and from the Abundant Joy dies just to make a fun little Christmas card here. Okay. Now, I like mixing plaids with prints, plaids with diagonals, plaids with stripes. It does not scare me in the least. Some people are like, you can't do that. I'm like, sure you can. We're going to add a tag. But what are we going to do with the tag that we've been doing with all of these? We have to add that little with love. I'm going to add it this time with Secret C. Okay. I know it had Mossy Meadow on it, but barely. So I'm just going to stamp off on scratch paper a couple times. Make sure it is Secret C. Do you ever do that? I'm like, it's just another dark color. It won't hurt. So again, I like this in this bottom right corner. I'm going to keep doing it because I love it. It's with love. Okay, that's going to go there. I'm going to tie pull off about 12 inches, 12, 13 inches. Tie yourself a bow. Okay. This crazy linen thread. Holy moly. This happens to just be a really curly roll. And boy, did I tie that so off center. Not good, not good. Okay, try again, do over. Okay, there we go. Hopefully it's a little better. Not much. Holy cow, you guys. How hard can it be to tie a bow evenly? All right, here we go. So we've got our linen thread, and that is going to kind of come up. We'll add that right in there. We'll take the cue from the tag, but I'm not going to tie it through the tag because sometimes it gets a little weird and wonky. I want a piece of some green here, and I'm going to layer this underneath. So, but I don't need the whole thing. So I'm going to trim this off. So I'm just eyeballing it. So I'm going to trim it off about that much. So let me bring my trimmer in here. Like the way, I'm just going to mark it with a fingernail pinch. Okay. You could save that and put it on something or just toss it. Whatever you want to do. Okay. So we've got these layers coming in. Okay. You can see how this is coming together. I've got a bow. I'm going to add it on top. So this is where I was saying you can only have one bow. Here's what I mean by only one bow. This, to me, I'm okay because these two are grouped together. they will look like one bow, all right? They're the same. But I can't have a bow there and a bow down here because that's just weird, all right? So you do you. If you like it, great. I'm doing me, and I don't, so I'm not. All right, so I'm getting snarky. Can you tell? Not that I'm hungry or anything. I had a waffle in between our 12 days of crafting class this morning and this one. So I'm not hungry. Might be a little thirsty. But by the way, if you have not joined us for 12 days of crafting, you are truly missing out. So those of you that are watching right now that are on the 12 days of crafting, let them know what they're missing. We really are having a good time. Today's project was so pretty. Remember when I said I was missing a cherry cobbler that I would find it? I found it because it doesn't go on this card. Oh, yes, it does go on this card. Why do I only have one flower on the card? I think that's a mistake. I don't know. We'll see. It maybe makes it or maybe doesn't. Okay. Ta-da. All right. We are going to have just kind of, my plan was this. This is kind of, but I was kind of liking that green on top, is this was going to go underneath. And then we've got this, just kind of adding to. Fantastic class. Thank you, Karen. It has been really fun. And we get to do it every day for, for 12 days. We are only on day, I'm going to trim this down. We're on day 4. We just opened day 4. I did share the card at the beginning of today's Paper Pumpkin Upstyle class here. Maybe I'll share it again. I don't know. But yes, this was day 4. And day 1 was filled. We had so many techniques all in one card. It was crazy. So I'm detailing this a little bit more than what I did on the other one. I just chopped it off. But I'm just kind of giving this a little character. Just kind of following what they've got going there. But I took that circle off because it was weird. But now I can kind of reach that up in there. Okay. You kind of get the idea of where things are going. All right, and I'm going to add a little greenery. So let me kind of glue some of these down into place, and then it'll be a lot easier for me to kind of maneuver things. Because at the moment, it's too much. So I'm just going to add this one right here. Easy enough. This kind of reminds me of, stacking presents, that sort of thing. I'm going to add this one with dimensionals. It really is a fabulous class. So if you purchase the 12 Days of Crafting from me, it is on the last chance list right now. If you purchase it from me, I will add you into the class right away for free. If you have the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar and you want to join our fun, the cost is $30 and there is so much content in there. And every day we keep adding more and more and more. We are just having a good time. All right, so this is going to come this way. And we're going to be adding our bow kind of right into the top there. That'll finish things off. But I have a couple different sprigs here that I want to just kind of embellish this greenery because I'm out of the other greenery. So I'm using Abundant Joy to kind of fill that in. And then we have the joy that comes down in here. Now, I have this in here, but I think I'm going to take it away. We're all about editing. So here we go, folks. Let's add our little sprig of mistletoe. I'm going to add this with glue. Okay. I'll just kind of stretch that right down like so. Kind of got to pick up some of this glue that I've got hanging on. And I'm going to add a little bit of greenery. I want this to come from underneath. Of course, I glued it down. Oh, I'm too smart. But kind of right in there. Okay. Then we'll add this piece in there as well. I love the way the inside of this card finished. This one's just going to kind of come in there. And then our bow. And I think I'm going to go paper bow first and then the linen thread over top. I think I like that mix a little better. I am going to put this on with dimensionals. One here on the tail and one up here in the bow, in the knot. Okay. We'll just kind of get that going. Let go. There we go, right in there. And then this one we're going to add right on top. I think I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller to match the paper bow just a little bit more closely. Okay, I'm okay if the tails are longer, but the loops were a little big. So I'm just going to kind of fix that just a little bit. And I'm going to add that with just a dot of glue here. I know once it sets up, it's great, but it takes a moment for it to set up. Come on, glue. It doesn't want to squirt out. Okay. Ah, there we go. Okay. All right. There's that. We'll just set that right in that puddle. That way. Turn it just a skosh. Okay. And then I'm going to add the joy right in here. And I have this in my notes, but I don't think well, I kind of do like it, but I don't want just one. It seems a little out of place. And this was supposed to be in here, but I'm going to cut that because I don't like that. I'm going to cut that, you know, just kind of doing my own thing because it is my thing, but, you know. So what I do is I design the cards and I have notes and photos of them, but then I don't totally assemble them. So that's why I'm like, what am I doing here? Okay. Because if I did, I'd have to have like a bazillion packs of paper pumpkin kits. Okay, I'm just trimming this dimensional down. So if you remember last time I had to kind of just tuck it and shove and push it in there because it doesn't quite fit on the Y. Why? Okay. Okay, and we'll just add this right over there. Abouts. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. And let's add some gems to finish this off. Let me just kind of bring this up so you can kind of get a look at it, at where it's headed. Okay. Easy, easy, easy. So let's just do, let's do these. I'm trying to decide. Let's do one up there. Kind of like it hiding back in there. Maybe another one over here. There. And just kind of monkeying around. I kind of like it up a little higher. Well, we'll see. Maybe just kind of right in there. Okay, lift that just a little bit. All right, it's hiding in there, but there you have something kind of wild and crazy, but beautiful. And filled with lots of sparkle. Okay, so I don't know. We may end up with some flowers in here. I'm not sure. But it's kind of fun because you've just got this really pretty gatefold showing off our DSP card there. So lots happening on this one. There's lots to see. Kind of, you know, like, you know, when there's lots of stuff going on at Christmas. This just is kind of reminds me of just lots of, you know, back in the day when you just bring out lots and lots of decor and have some fun. So fun, fun, fun. Have some fun. There's that. All right, you guys, I have 2 more boxes planned. I don't know that we'll get to both, but my boxes are already made. I just need to decorate them. So let's just decorate them really, really fast. So here's our box. We're gonna go on. Okay, this time I'm gonna orient this way, landscape. And we're going to do some more stamping, kind of like what we just did on the inside of our other card. But we're going to do that here. This is a stylish shapes circle. All right. Gonna take my blending brush that I have old olive ink on it, but I'm just trying again to do an O. I'm trying to leave the middle white. What's tricky is my fingers get in the way. So just a little haze of color there. I have Secret C open, so I'm going to shut it. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Valerie. It is really pretty. All right, I am going to stamp the wreath again with basic beige, just like we did. So like I say, once you find something that you like with a stamp set, there's no reason why you can't keep repeating it. So I'm going to repeat this look right here because I like it. I think it has nice dimension. And rather than just one stamp image floating in space, when you multiply them like that, it just kind of gives things a little bit more oomph. So I'm going to add the wreath to the center of the circle here. And then we're going to use the image. We haven't used this yet, but this is a really cute image. A gift for you. So I'm going to stamp that with cherry cobbler. And we'll just stamp this kind of right dead center on the circle. And now you can kind of see why I wanted that center left a little open. Is it kind of creates it's a bullseye, taking your eye right to that, right? Okay, what do I have? I'm going to move these out of the way for now. What do we have here? This is the tag from the Abundant Joy dies. What a great basic tag. I mean, it is such a good one. I also have, and I don't even know, this isn't current ribbon, but I pulled it out of my stash because it was the right color. It's kind of a petal pink and white. It's kind of like a grosgrain feel to it. It definitely has some texture, but I'm going to feed this through this tag here. And again, I like a fairly decent, I'd rather have a bigger bow and trim it than have too little of ribbon and not be able to tie a decent something, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I'm just going to tie from the bolt so that I have enough, but I've got this going backwards. There we go. Okay, so just going to tie a bow through our tag here. Okay, so just real quick, easy shoestring bow. Yeah, it's not styled yet, so it doesn't look so great, but we'll get it there. But if you have some petal pink, or just use whatever you have. Maybe you have some red or some poppy parade, or you can mix it up and do whatever you want. So this tag got tied backwards, so we're going to switch, go the other way. Okay. And it still looks horrendous. It's because there's a knot in there. Okay, that's better. I can live with that. It's not 100% perfect, but it's pretty good. Okay. I just want it kind of hanging off the side. So it's going to kind of just dangle over the side here like this. So let's just give these each a little quick trim. Okay. All right. That's going to go there. I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. So the nice thing about this is you will have a gift box with a bow ready to go, but you can still access the inside of the box. So this is just going to stack right on center, just like that, keeping it easy. And now I'm going to take my circle here and add this to my tag right on center. I don't do a lot of things on dead center very often, but when you have something small like this, it just kind of, it works. So just add that right to your box, like so. Cuteness. Now I have layers here I can tuck in between and add. And I've just got some things from, this is more Abundant Joy. Sorry, I didn't mean to say Abundant Beauty. It's Abundant Joy. So I've got, these are more of those white flowers from the bow paper that I was mentioning earlier. This is in that negative space from what you would throw away. There was plenty of room to cut lots of flowers. So all of the white flowers today came from that paper. All right, and I have 2 Mossy Meadow leaves and 2 Old Olive leaves. And I'm just going to do some, I'm just going to take, if this side has Old Olive, then it's going to get a Mossy Meadow. So we're just going to do a couple sprigs up on each side and a couple sprigs down. So 2 sprigs down, 2 sprigs kind of coming up and over. And then we'll add some flowers. So I'm going to add a flower here. I'm going to add another one over here. And I'm going to kind of tuck it behind and down in. That'll kind of counterbalance my, my bow. This one's going to tuck under. And then I have some 3 petal pink. So I'm repeating that petal pink color with the berries here. So let's just get this all glued in place. And we'll splatter it and stella it, which means stella it. So look at this. I'm just going to grab 2 leaves, one-dimensional, and just tuck this right in like so. Same thing over here. Just kind of get those. I kind of liked them going in opposite directions. Just kind of thought it was different, fun. This is a cute box, you guys. I would love to get a little gift inside this. Here, Newell, fill it. All right, this one's going to glue. Maybe. And I'm going to glue that underneath. And then this one is going to come right, and it's going to sit right on top there. And so I'm going to glue this. It doesn't need any more dimension. Or am I? Hold on, folks. I think I might do it as a dimensional. I just don't want it to upstage the greeting. Okay, I'm not going to glue that one on just yet. And my last flower, we're going to glue, and it tucks underneath. Kind of tucks underneath right there. I think I'm going to pull the dimensional off because I feel like it's going to upstage the greeting. So we'll just glue it. Kind of pair these 2 up right here. I'm going to slide this one down a little further and hide it, tuck it in there just a little bit more. And then we're going to add some of our petal pink berries. And I'm just going to tuck this right in there with it. Oh, these little berries. Now this time I have no problem bringing these berries in because these are bigger, right? Visually, they're more to scale. But to me, these are what finished this little box right off. Makes it super cute. Super, super cute. And then we'll do one last little spray. Kind of want this. Okay. We'll add one more. I think I'm gonna do it kind of underneath. Need it to catch something though. Okay. Okay, that one's kind of hiding, which is okay. Okay, fiddling around. That one I'm not satisfied with where it landed. I'm going to tuck it up a level higher. There we go. All right, better. Okay, now I am going to, just a little, just to soften that white, and a lot because I love it, and I have an illness. What are y'all putting inside the boxes besides candy? Well, I think definitely, some gift cards, but I love to, every now and again, I sent a card to my mom for her birthday, and I found an old picture of her that was taken in, I think, 1970. I had never seen the picture before. I found it on Facebook, of all places. And I added that to her card. And so to me, I think people enjoy, you know, like we are like, I don't take my picture, I look gross. But people do enjoy receiving, oh, look, they had that of me and they've made a cute little project with it. So I think a picture. Gift card, yeah. But okay, if you're going to put a gift card in there, print a picture and wrap it around. I don't know, do something to personalize it. But yeah, this, you guys, is really cute in person here. Cute little, we kind of lost our tag shape, but it's in there. But cute little box. If you're willing to hang around, I have one last one, pretty easy. Like I say, the box is already made. I'm just using pieces left over from the kit here. What I'm going to do real fast is take this. So these are 2 of the tags. All right. And I'm just going to we're just going to fit this around. I'm just going to kind of give it a fold here. Okay, so I've got one fold in there. Okay, and we'll set that on the box, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just creating a belly band, folks. So I'm wrapping this one around. I'm not measuring, I'm just letting it kind of come together organically. There's that, looks great. Now we'll do the same thing on this side. We'll kind of lap this over. I think I have to push this back. So it's going to be this one's going to be a little further away. But if I don't, I won't be able to tie it right. So this one's just going to set back a little further. That's okay. It's still going to look great. But it gives you the idea. And this one, our lesson today was coaxing things into place with the bone folder. So I've got to coax this one a little bit better. Okay. It was a little crooked. It was a lot crooked. All right, now I'm going to wrap this one to the back. You know where that's going to go, right there. Okay. Give that a little better crease, clean that up. All right, so this one's going around the back or the top. This one's coming around. Now I'm going to take my basic beige ribbon. So if you're going to make this, just make sure you kind of pull back a little bit more. Make yours a little bit more even. I'm going to put my ribbon through the front of the hole. Okay. I'm going to wrap around the box. And I mean, we could glue these together, which I probably, yeah, let's do it real fast. Let's just give them a quick glue together. Okay. Set up, glue, set up. Okay. So we're going to wrap this around. I need more in the front here. Because like I said, I'd rather have, let me bring this around. So I've just wrapped around. Let me show you. So I poked it through the front and I've got a tail. Now I'm wrapping around underneath. And I'm going to poke that through the front of this one. Okay, and then we'll just cover this. Not cover it, but bring it all together. So just bring that. So now you can see why you don't want to overlap them, because you need to be able to tie. So we'll just tie a bow here, sneak it in there. But just a quick, easy belly band using the tags. So you could use just a strip of cardstock if you didn't want to use the tags, but quick and easy. You know what? You can't even tell that I did this uneven. All right. So speaking of uneven, let's even up our tails. Make it look a little tidier. Nice. But that's easy because now I've got a belly band that I can slip on and off the box, right? All right, so I have one last piece here. And so we need to decorate this box somehow. And let's see, I have some of the white flowers. Again, these are from that piece of garbage piece that was left over. Okay, and so I've got this one piece here. Not quite sure. I think I'm going to tuck it, kind of wiggle it under. Okay, so this is going to be one of those that's very asymmetrical. And then we'll add another tag kind of up in here, but just kind of decorate your box. I think what I might do is, this is one of those that I trimmed off. I think I'm just going to trim all of that. I just trimmed all that stuff off the top. This is one that I busted, that I was very first working with when I first got the kit. All right, so I'm just going to kind of reach that. Ugh, I'm not liking how it's sticking, but you get the idea. Okay, let me bring that back just a little bit. I'm going to stamp this with cherry cobbler because I have these two cherry cobbler ends. And even though this is kind of, you know, the green and the basic beige, I'm going to repeat that color there. So let's repeat with some Happy Holidays. You know, the Merry Christmas is interchangeable. It's just then I would have to clean it because it's green right now. But let's make this one cherry cobbler. Ta-da! Okay, beautiful. And then we're just going to add our flowers and that little tag. And I think I'm going to try and tie that little tag. I'm going to make it look like a tag. I guess I am going to just punch a teeny tiny little hole. I wish I had an even smaller hole punch, but a little hole in that. And then let's take some of the linen thread, and I'm just going to take, well, I'm just going to take what's left because I don't have enough for another project. But I'm going to just take this. So I'm just taking my piece of linen thread. It can be as long or as short as you want, but I'm going to make this, I'm going to tie this around. So I'm just adding this with a half hitch. Nothing new here to see, right? Just got this tiny little tag, but then I'll tie it around the bow so it kind of has, you know, it just kind of has a free flow. And I think I know what I'm going to do with this piece. I've got it tangled up, but I'm actually going to do something a little different. I'm going to glue it so it comes from underneath. So I'm going to put some glue on the top, not the bottom. I'm putting it on the top. And then that way this will attach to the belly band. Okay, so I've just got that and I want to make sure it picks up. Hopefully that makes sense, what I'm saying. And now I will tie this, is going to kind of set right there. And I'm going to go, one of my linen thread is going to go under the bow. So just go underneath. Of course, now I've got a die cut in the way, but one underneath and one is going to go on top. Okay, and so we'll just kind of tie this in place, just kind of the way we've tied a lot of other things. And what I like to do, let me get that bow situated. I kind of like that these tails are long. It just kind of adds to the decor. I'm going to take these two, hold them together while I tie one knot. Okay, I kind of like that approach rather than tying another bow with the linen thread. Okay, so there's that. So that just kind of dangles off. Totally my speed. And I'm going to add our, we're going to add our flowers here. So we're just going to kind of take one, maybe around here. So I've just got 3 of them. I'm just going to kind of maybe even put them under. Just kind of where they're not quite so obvious. I don't know, I might not even use them. We'll see. We'll see. So, or maybe attach them to the other. I don't know. I think I'm just going to hold off. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe something like that. Maybe really hide this one. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. We're just going to, sometimes if you overanalyze, then that's your analytical side of the brain working. You just need to let the artistic side take over. Okay, so I'm just going to grab that way. We'll put this one on. So this one's just going to kind of balance up over in here. And I think I'm going to tuck it under the ribbon even, just so it kind of hides just a little bit. And then this one I'm going to put on with a dimensional. Notice I didn't let that dimensional land in the center. I kind of want the little green to pop through, but I'm going to kind of do this one kind of right in there. And this guy, I'm not so convinced of this guy. Maybe he needs to be... I don't know where he needs to go. Well, we'll just tuck him further down in. Who knows? You'll have to see the pictures later where that guy's going to land. He might be removed altogether. Anyhow, I just wanted to give you the idea that you can go ahead and use the belly band idea around these boxes. And again, easily just slide that right off so that you have access to the box, right? Okay, so now what are you going to do with all of your boxes? Hopefully make some cool stuff. Don't be afraid to share it. I'd love to see what you got going. But there you have it. Of course, this needs a little sparkle and shine. Of course, of course. Okay. All right, let's just take a quick review of what we've put together today. We've got a couple boxes here for you that are kind of fun and different and sweet. There's those. We've got a couple cards. Actually, we have 3 cards. So we have our gatefold. Okay, our DSP gatefold, really pretty. We have a couple cards done up with a little bit of basic beige. All right. This one I might have to put something to soften these flowers, or I might have to curl them. We'll see. Those may change. Look for that in the photo. We've done a couple tags. I really love this tag right here. And here's another one where we braided the ribbon or the bow. So we've got that. And we have a couple, we started out with a couple real simple boxes. Our first one was to turn it right side out, or sorry, wrong side out, right side in. And then we have our little window box as well. So lots to do with today's paper pumpkin kit. Have some fun with it. I will share one last time about our 12 days of crafting. This is a great, fun class. We have just finished day 4. You don't want to miss out. Here was today's project. You could actually, work with other stamps and dies and just come along and create some fun stuff with us. This was day 4. We were focusing on the labels that were behind the day 4, but the cost is $30 and it's 12 classes, all right, every day at 10 o'clock Mountain Time. Join us. All right, folks, it's been fun. I will catch you next month here in my Seeing Ink Spots page for the Watercolors of Bloom Paper Pumpkin Kit. We're going to do some alternatives with that. I will see you then. Thanks, folks, for coming. Bye-bye.